Hey guys, Scott here, and wonderful news. The 3 gen Skull Merchant is in fact dead, so the last three people who are playing her to just be a absolute, I can't say a bad word for 4 more seconds or I get demonetized, to be those type of people, they now don't have that option anymore, so that's great. This is the developer update for September 2023. This should be coming in like usually 3 weeks. They usually do like a PTB, and then it'll be live in like 3 weeks, so around there. And we got a couple of cool changes. Mainly the deletion of Skull Merchant is very, very good. Well, at least your 3 gen. I think the deletion entirely would be nice too, but they are moved to a 3 gen. But first, let's start with the main change, which is something people are asking for 8 years straight. The anti-face camping mechanic. I'm sure you guys have seen this screenshot or a screenshot like this before, but pretty much if there's a killer nearby you on the hook and they're, pretty much face camping you, this bar will start to fill up. And if the bar is filled up, you will be able to Kobe off the hook 100% and gain borrowed time and endurance, earn the speed boost and all the stuff that comes with getting unhooked naturally. Additionally, this will even work on stage 2, so you can actually Kobe off a hook on when you're like, on your last hook there. So that makes it pretty interesting because that is a mechanic we've never actually seen before. And this has a bunch of mitigating circumstances because obviously sometimes you have to chase survivors that are near hooks. What if you have the entire survivor team swarming the hook? Now the guy on the hook gets rewarded because the survivors are being stupid. So if there's survivors nearby the hook as well, the bar will not fill up. So pretty much it's just trying to take care of people that are just face camping you while everything else is going on, so everyone else can work on gens and you will still be safe, because the current counter to face camping was just to keep working on generators, let the person die, you all leave, but that guy dies, everyone has a bad time. So this will at least aim to make it so the person that is on the hook has a chance to play the game as well, and I think that's overall a very good change. But there is a certain amount of unknown factors here. The actual distance required. People can still proxy camp, which is not arguably, it is without a doubt stronger than face camping, so that really doesn't get fixed. I did see them address the issue of Bubba on Twitter. They specifically mentioned that Bubba will have some type of mechanic to not be able to double hit a survivor off the hook. I'm willing to bet Bubba's gonna stop after one saw hit if the person was recently on the hook. I'm guessing that's the change they're going to make. Their saw is just going to stop after that first hit, which would make a lot of sense and make it so Bubba could not effectively guarantee a kill anymore, which I think would be honestly a great change. Other than that, though, yeah, this is really going to come down to testing the exact distance values. I can't say for sure if this is perfect yet, but I like the system. I like what they're trying to do. We just need to make it not abusable because, as I'm sure you know, people are very clever. They will come up with ways to abuse the shit out of this, and we need to be there on the PTB and find them very quickly so the devs can fix those. And then once we have a functional version of the system, I think it's overall going to be very good for the game. Skull Merchant. The 3 gen playstyle, I can definitely say, is effectively dead. What I cannot say is how good she's going to be with these changes. They are frankly very confusing. These are one of the few times I'm reading the patch notes, I don't know if she's going to be good or not. I'm leaning towards she's going to be a absolute burning pile of dog shit, but I'm not quite sure yet. So they're making it, basically in a nutshell, they're making it so the active drone zone doesn't work anymore. There's not that big green like circle around the drone. And also the drones do not apply the lock-on effect if you are immobile, which that means that if you're working on a generator, it will just simply not affect you whatsoever. So you can no longer 3 gen with them. They're basically trying to make them as chase-oriented as possible. The problem is her power in a chase is not cool or exciting either. There were a few people that played, Chase Merchant, where they would throw up a drone and the drone had add-ons that affected her speed, made her faster, things like that, so they would play her in a chase-heavy playstyle. But for the survivor perspective, it's the same goddamn thing. She drops the drone, you leave the loop. She drops the drone, you leave the loop. She drops the drone, you're in a corner, you get hit. It's going to be the exact same issue. And that's the thing I'm worried about. We'll have to see how it is in the PTB. I'm very glad 3 gen Merchant is gone. So overall, this is still a good change. But I think she's such a fundamentally dogshit design of a killer that there's basically no saving her. So I am worried that this is going to be a scenario where the counterplay is still just leave the loop. There's no skill at putting a drone up. You just put a drone up, the survivor has to leave, or they'll get a claw trap eventually and become instantly injured. And I don't know. Then once survivors are instantly injured, it doesn't down them anymore. They just get put into deep wound if they get 3 stacks of this new lock on. So good survivors are not going to care if they're injured. But when she actually drops one of her drones, she now becomes instantly undetectable, which could help mind gaming at loops and stuff like that. It's just effectively the same thing as a moonwalk. You don't have the red light. You can also just moonwalk and get the same effect there. So, I don't know. I'm not even going to comment anymore on this because I simply cannot figure out, based on this frankly massive rework, exactly how she's going to play out. I think she's still going to be extremely boring, but it's not going to be 3-gen levels of boring anymore. So that's good, I guess. But yeah, there's too much here just to try to figure out via text. And I just need to play her in the PTB. We'll get a better feeling of how she is later. But yeah, there's like a ton of changes, and I feel irresponsible giving feedback on them when I don't know. All I know is 3-gen Merchant is dead. They're trying to make her more chase-oriented. I don't know if that's going to make her fun. We'll leave it at that. Borgo is getting some changes. So first off, they're shrinking Borgo. We noticed this map was absolutely massive when they first released it. We always say big maps are bad. Yeah, they keep making big maps. So I'm glad they're going back on that. I wish they didn't have to waste time shrinking it down. They just didn't do it to begin with, but they're making it smaller now. So it will actually be a square, not a rectangle. They have improved the collision on a lot of objects. Like, for example, that hay thing on the ground near Shack that you have to, like, run around was really obnoxious. Just little things like that. They've claimed to fix the collision there. Again, we'll test it when we go there, but all that stuff is really, really good. They added more line of sight blockers, which I feel like Borgo is the one exception where I actually think that might not be a bad idea, because Borgo is just a wide open nothing map. It is just literally you can see to the other end of the map. So adding a couple line of sight blockers to this map I think is actually okay. I don't want like a Toba landing thing where it's like tree, branch, tree, branch, bush, tree, branch, bush. Like you can't see shit. But this map was wide open. So adding a couple of line of sight structures, just kind of like this, just little stuff like that, I think is not a bad idea. The map offered essentially 0 stealth options other than the bushes of destiny. But for the most part, I think adding a few line of sight blockers is okay for there. Now for McMillan Estate. Okay, side rant. Why do they keep remaking the maps that the community already pretty unanimously agree are among the better balanced in the game? I don't know why. There's like Bad and Preschool, there's like Swamps, like there's just so many more problematic maps. But they keep retouching the shit that's already actually kind of okay. So I don't know why they keep doing this, but whatever. They're doing a couple of things. They changed Suffocation Pit. The mine shaft is now going to be in a different location, or I think it's just completely randomized. We'll see when we actually get there. They added more variety to the maps as well, so we're going to get much different looking McMillan maps. Again, I don't know why. I thought it was mostly okay. So I don't know. I guess this is one of the things we'll see on the PTB, but among the least problematic realm in the entire game. Very low on the priority list for changing, so I don't know why they go there. A couple of tweaks to some perks. Bird of Chase now is 5 meters of reduction of tear radius in a chase per token. They seem to not understand why this perk is bad. Your tear radius in a chase barely matters. If this perk lowered your tear radius outside of a chase, this would actually be a hell of a good perk. It'd be very, very fun to use, and I would actually consider using it. But because it only works in chase, it makes no sense. If you're getting chased by the person, you know you're getting chased. Even if they have a 20 meters smaller tear radius, you still know you're getting chased. And if all of a sudden the tear radius grows massively, it means they've abandoned the chase. So it's completely pointless dog shit perk. Will never be used by anybody. They seem to be missing it. If they made it so it worked outside of chase and not in chase, suddenly, well, now we have a very interesting stealth perk. Background player, 4 to 5 seconds. This is the perk that when someone gets picked up, it allows you to get in position for flashlight saves, things like that. I'm okay with the increase in the speed boost. Honestly, that doesn't really help you get in position for flashlight saves and stuff like that, because once the survivor's picked up, it only takes a couple seconds for them to get picked up. Whether you arrive a second, at second 4 or second 5, you're still too late to get the flashlight save, so it's whatever. That doesn't really affect much at all. Trapper is actually getting a fairly sizable buff. They're getting 2 more traps per map, which is nice, and they're getting a fairly substantial 7.5% haste effect after setting a bear trap. We don't know how long this lasts, but it will help with setting a trap, getting somewhere else, setting a trap, and stuff like that. One thing I've noticed, though, is that increases to movement speed when they're small like this, they don't really matter much in terms of map traversal, but they do matter a ton in terms of chase differentials of survivor and killer speed. That's when it really matters. So I wonder if there'll be some type of build you can do with the silent trap setting add-on, set a trap, get a huge haste speed bonus, and then try to like actually actively chase with the haste speed bonus. We don't know how long it'll last those, but just I'm already thinking of a couple interesting ideas there. So that should be, any buff that Trapper gains, I'm very okay with. He's probably the worst killer in the game. So I think that's fine. No problem with that at all. Huntress and Trickster will now reload 1 second faster. I'm okay with that. No real downsides there. I think that quality of life is nice. It will still stack with Iron Maiden, Deerskin Gloves, the add-on, things like that. So no problem with that at all. The Deathslinger's add-on for reloading is now base kit. And they have buffed, or I guess they nerfed the add-on accordingly, because frankly, it did feel almost required to use that add-on for Deathslinger to reload faster. And so I think they did a great change and just made it a base kit thing. And now you will just simply reload that fast by default. And now you can have the add-on to increase that even further. They've also increased the movement speed bonuses while aiming down sight for Jaw Smasher and Wanted Poster add-ons, but those are not very good because most people just aim and shoot immediately. It's not that big of a deal, but not useless. I'm okay with these changes completely. Legion got a small buff to one of their add-ons, the BFF add-on. That's the weird one where they moved faster at endgame if they got enough Feral Frenzy during the match. It's a very interesting add-on, but they got buffed a little bit now, so now you can get 6% faster, you can get 3% faster from Noed. You'll basically be running at almost 120% movement speed. No, faster than that, actually. So that'll be 124. I don't know. It seems like a very silly niche thing, so whatever. I'm okay with it. I don't think it's going to affect much, but I'm okay with it. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, so we pretty much have to actually play the new Skull Merchant to really determine whether or not she is better. I'm sure she's going to be better, but I still think she's going to have a whole new set of problems. But that's pretty much it. I guess we'll see on the PTB in a couple weeks. Thanks for watching.